Welcome to Uber Noob. I'm your host Center. Today we have a game from Strumbonstall Season 9, Week 1, and this is the third game that I'm casting from this. We have Wood Elves versus Orcs, which is a pretty fun matchup. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into it. The Elf team is actually, I think, 200 team value ahead of the Orcs, which is, for Orcs, is not like unusual. Orcs have really cheap players, so they're very good at what they do. Let's take a quick look here. Also, I did take a look at the inducements, but it seemed like the Orcs, all they got was a bribe. They may have picked up like an extra reroll or something that I couldn't see. Maybe some Bloodwiser babes. Yeah, so here we go. Let's take a quick look at the Orc team. Leader, dump off, block. Hold on a second. Alright, yeah, I don't know why you want dump off on an Orc. Maybe he has like an agility 4 blitzer or something. Here, let me go in order. I mean, it may be that this league, like, you got to keep your team value as high as you can. But agility 2, like, one of the biggest things about Orcs is they are agility 3, and that can really come in handy. I mean, it's not such a big deal because he is stand firm and blodging, so his job is just get in there and stay there. So agility 2, it shouldn't be such a big deal, but it can be. Let's see. Wow, this is a beast. This is huge. He's a killer with dodge, and so he's hard to knock over. Strength 4, he has mighty blow and piling on. This is an absolute beast. He's a really good character. Block and kick. That's something you need on an Orc team. You'll usually end up with 1 or 2 linemen, and yeah. This is a Super Ball carrier. Maybe this is what he does. Maybe he like tries to like toss it back and forth between the Orcs, or between his throwers. That's not necessarily a good thing because you're leaving a lot up to dice at that point. So that's what we have here. Oh wow, yeah, strength. Oh gosh, he got away. But yeah, there's a strength 5 monstrosity running around. Let's see where is he. Yeah, and he's got block, guard, mighty blow. All he needs is like stand firm, and he's just unstoppable. Mighty blow, guard. Lodge. Black Orcs, when they get a double, pretty much like you're either going to take dodge or you're just going to ignore it. I can't think of anything else that would be good. Maybe sidestep if he already has guard and something. I don't know. Now we already looked at this guy. We looked at that guy. I hate how it shuffles him after the... oh, he's got a sneaky get and a dirty player. That's interesting. So he's pretty expensive for a lineman. Dodge, guard, sidestep. That's pretty cool. He has -1 movement, but that's not like the worst thing in the world. Orcs are already slow. You just... Alright, let's take... Wow. Alright, the Wood Elf team has a lot of like players that stand on the sideline. Now, I mean, depending on how you play the game, like, this can be good. I mean, he has armor 7, and he is up against Bash team. Maybe he's just planning on, like, I don't know, like, playing kind of like Skaven. Like, there are 2 ways to stop a cage, which you know the Orcs are going to do. Either you can make the little columns, as I've shown, or you can flood their ball carriers. What you can do is you can, like, knock over like a corner of the cage, and then just put as many tackle zones on the ball carrier as you can. And since Orcs are only agility 3, that'll, you know, keep up. Let's see if he has a character that is good for marking. This is a pretty standard build for a catcher. Yeah, this is a War Dancer. War Dancers come pretty well stocked. I mean, if they get a double, you give them Mighty Blow or Guard. There's some other good options too. Kick and Wrestle. Okay. Okay, so this is the guy that comes up and marks the ball carrier. Like, that seems to be his job. He just kind of stays on top of the ball carrier, even if as long as you don't get a defender down on him, he's gonna stay on top of the ball carrier. He has movement 8. He has shadowing. Yeah, it'll be difficult to get away from him. Dodge, guard, wrestle. You should always take guard whenever you can on elves, but if you want him on the line of scrimmage, you might want to consider fend instead of guard. Like, I know he had some linemen that didn't have anything. I don't know why I didn't just use them. Grab, guard. Okay, that's good. Dodge, wrestle. Also good. Now, I notice he has a lot of players that are hurt, and he just kind of accepts that, I guess. like I said, you need to keep your team value up in this league, it looks like. Okay, so there are two schools of thought. Whenever you kick off, or yeah, whoever you put on the line of scrimmage, you can either put your players with skills that keep them alive on the line, or you can put your guys that are useless. Well, not useless, but like if they're hurt and they have no skills or no star player points, you just put them on the line of scrimmage. So yeah, it's interesting that he keeps his tree men though at movement 1. Alright, so the orc player, if you look at it, he had it set up pretty symmetrically. He didn't favor one side over the other. So it's difficult to tell where he's going to go. But really with wood elves, they're so fast that it's not really that big of a deal if they overload one side, because then, I mean, these guys are over here in a heartbeat, and these guys are, well, they're not quite as fast. But still, I mean, they can get over on this side. This is a pretty standard defense. This is, like I said, a symmetrical offense. He's just going to do as much damage, I think, as he can to these 3 players on the line here. So, yeah, you got a defender stumbles there. I was thinking, like, you know, he should have just put guys with no skills, but these skills actually paid off having them on the line of scrimmage. Both these guys would have taken armor rolls had it not been for their skills. So, there you have it. There it is at work. Alright, so when it comes to a tree man, like, you don't usually see a tree man necessarily against wood elves. Like, they're kind of, like, as far as big guys go, they're kind of odd. Like, they can fall over and never get back up, or they can take root and just be useless. But this one has grab, and so that one makes it like even more dangerous, kind of. But what you want to do whenever you come up against a tree man is not necessarily surround him. I mean, this is like giving him plenty of spaces to like block and utilize his strength 6 and mighty blow. Like, you're tying up 3 black orcs, and then this black orc, you're tying up all 4 of your black orcs just to hold down this tree man. I can't really say that that's justified. And even now, like, he's still there. So let's take a quick look at the orc sideline. He has he doesn't have a troll, but he has a goblin, which is kind of interesting. I guess it's in case he just absolutely needs to score in like 2 turns or something. I mean, this guy kind of sets that up. Block and kick. So yeah, like I said, I was just saying, oh, it's not good to put your best guys on the line of scrimmage, but once again, it paid off. So, although he'd already be down. So he would actually be hitting somebody else, so this is all good. Over here on the sideline, this is like his 1-turn touchdown kind of guy. He just needs an easy chain push, and then he's gone. So what else we got? This is a slow and low armor thrower, but he is an excellent thrower. He has everything that you want on a thrower. That's probably why he's keeping him. Kind of like Troy Aikman back in the late, like, towards the end of his career. Okay, so now if you look, the orc player just has way too much of his people right here, and they're all laying on the ground. Like, this is, he needs to be spread out a little bit more. This is kind of the trap that you could fall into when you get a bribe, is when you're trying to foul too hard, you may pull a lot of your players out of position. If he had, like, you know, some players over here and some players over here, it would protect his cage a lot better. As it is now, yeah, the other guy's going to be able to put tackle zones on the ball carrier should he wish to, which is what it looks like. So yeah. And this is what one of the things, like, a lot of people don't understand why you would take wrestle over block. This is why. The orc player is down 3 players this turn, and it's all due to wrestle. I think. Unless this guy like tripped or something. But I don't think so. Alright, now this guy's gonna be a pain to get rid of. He should send a guy over with tackle and hopefully tackle and mighty blow. What you want to do is you want to get this guy off the pitch because your ball carrier is not going to be able to shake him. Does he have tackle? No. It's interesting that he has pass block and nerves of steel. I don't know, like he's supposed to be built kind of like he gets on the ball carrier and then the ball carrier really can't throw the ball. But I think that you should develop him more in a to a single capacity. Like he doesn't need to be trying to intercept the ball very often. I don't know who would try to throw the ball while there's somebody on top of him, but we shall see. Because like right here he could hand off. No, he can't. I lied. Well, if he bashes this guy and then hands off to here, actually the orcs are in a pretty tough position right now. But like I said, the orc player created the situation. He put way too much of his strength right here, and now he's got nothing protecting his ball carrier. And it's not like these people can even get away to create like a cage somewhere else. This was kind of a blunder. Like I said, I think he was just trying to utilize that bribe to the best of his ability, and it just didn't work out. So always be aware of that. Like, foul only if it's in your best interest. Sorry about that. Need some water there. Alright, let's see what we got. It's the orc's turn. What he's just got a, I don't know. This is something you'll see a lot too, like a thrower with just like leader and block. Like leader is a really good skill to have. It keeps your team value down, and as long as you don't, as long as you use your thrower just kind of as a lineman and not really try to protect him too much, it's pretty much worth it. Okay, so the orc player, I think what he's going to try to do here, this guy not have guard, he has guard, I don't know what he's doing. He needs to free up some of these people so that way he can start to get his ball carrier out of trouble. He's going to have to blitz this guy away too. That's going to be the big thing. Nope, I got a phone call, 1 moment. Sorry about that. Alright, let's see here. Resume match. Alright, where were we? Oh, orc player is in trouble. No, he's in a lot of trouble. Also, when you do, if you do employ this type of tactic with elves or Skaven or, you know, even humans, what you need to do is you need to just like not worry. Like if you're focusing solely on the ball, you cannot be worried about the safety of your players. So if you look, what he did was not only did he put as many tackle zones on the ball carrier as he could, he also went up and marked a lot of players that maybe he didn't necessarily have to. But now, like what it does is it keeps them from coming to support the ball carrier. And so, yes, like the orc player may get a ton of blocks against your squishy armor 7, but this ball carrier is in a lot of trouble. And next turn, you could really see the payoff. Like they can't score this turn, but if they can pop the ball loose, they could be running wild. They could be untouchable pretty much. So the orc, gosh, I wish I could see what's happening. But the orc player was able to knock down the tree man and get a block against this this thing, which is really good because he is armor 6. So if he can get This is Mighty Blow, yeah. So there's a good chance that this guy is going to be at least stunned, which is huge. Yeah, there it is. They're not out of the woods yet, but it's still, like, that's a huge victory, getting this KO here. Let's see. Alright, so now the Orc player, did he just dodge away? Make a 4+2, gosh, I wish I could see what happened. I guess he does have dodge, but even so, this is all dangerous. Now this is one really good thing about Orcs, is they have a sure hands player right off. I think, if I remember correctly. Didn't he have two? Oh, he had tackle. Okay. This one has strip ball though. So this could still leap in and cause like a -2 die block and get a decent strip in there. And again, there's a defensive wrestle. Like, it can be game changer if you have enough of it. That 1 die block was really dangerous. I mean, as it stands right now, he's gonna have to leap it. What is this? He has guard. 1, 4, 5. No, okay. There'll still only be a -2, but does this thing have guard? Yes. Alright, now this is a tough situation because he must be going for a 1. No, I don't know what he's doing here. Maybe he has somebody with guard that he can pull down over here. The Orc player is in a much better position than he is now than he was before. He only has 1 tackle zone on his ball carrier, which is pretty big. And no matter where, if the elf player is able to put another tackle zone on him, he's still not going to necessarily have to use his blitz in order to free up the ball carrier. Never mind, now he does. If this lineman, because like if you can get 2 tackle zones on the ball carrier with nobody touching either of those people, they're going to have to utilize a blitz to get somebody off. And then there's still going to be somebody on your ball carrier, which is never what you want. So, and in fact, you might go for a 1 die block here. Do you have wrestle? No, you don't have anything. Whenever you're going after a ball carrier, this is another reason to have wrestle. This is a good game to show why wrestle is good. Maybe this guy has wrestle. Yes, he does. But I think he already moved. Yeah, he moved over here to assist. But no, wrestle is good because you can knock over the ball carrier even as long as you roll both down, and it's been huge defensively. Like you've seen, like I think 3 or 4 orcs go down on their turn just because of wrestle. And then orcs get up and they can move like 2 or 3 while the elves are moving 4 or 5. It's madness. Or even 1. Although the orcs aren't doing a lot of moving really, they're just kind of standing still. But it's still a really cool skill. Excuse me. Okay. So yeah, I was about to say, this is where the now I think that the elf player should have come here and attacked from this angle, because then he could have pushed the ball carrier right here and still had this guy on top of the ball carrier instead of just this guy. Although it could still be okay, I guess. I guess he decided not to try to dump off, and see, like, this is, I don't know, dump off is one of those skills I just don't fully understand why you need or want it, because he doesn't always use it, Anyway, elf player snatched up the ball, and now he's just gonna run free with it. The Orc player can't even catch up at this point. He should send somebody over there to put pressure on the ball to force him to score early, so that way he has a chance to get back. And at the same time, he needs to do as much damage as possible to key players. Although, like I said, the Elf player, he has a lot of naked linemen, and so and there weren't a lot of really strong key players. Like, he's looking at War Dancers maybe. Leader will drop a reroll next half, but 4 rerolls is still a lot, so I mean, that's not such a big deal. I remember there being an Armor 6 guy, but he must already be off the pitch. Yeah, this is really bad for the Orcs. There's, like I said, the Orcs have a lot of really good players that are just really solid. Like, he has that strength 4, movement 7 blitzer, and he has that strength 5. Maybe that's why he doesn't have a troll, because he has a strength 5 black orc. But even so, like, I don't know, another strength 5 player, I don't know how much he would be helping necessarily, but it wouldn't be hurting this situation. But yeah, the Orc has some superstars, and the Elf, like, one of their strengths, I think, is just, like, they have everything they need almost starting out. You need a few guys with wrestle, you need, you know, you might want 1 or 2 skills on your War Dancers, and your catchers, they level up so quickly, but you can develop them into doing very specific roles. And even if you don't want anything, like, super specific, like block and sidestep, like, that's excellent. That's an excellent player just by itself. So that's kind of the strength of the Elves, or one of the strengths of the Elves. It's one of the reasons that they're one of the most successful teams. Like, they take a lot of damage because they're low armor, but they don't need the development that other teams do in order to be successful. Although it is important to note that this strategy does not always work out in your favor. Sometimes you run up and mark everybody, and then they block all your players, and you're down to like 4 players, which can be really rough. But even so, like, Elves, they don't need that many players in order to run their offense, and so I think that the Orcs are going to find that they're going to have a lot of trouble coming back from this, because Orcs do not recover very well. Okay, so he's finally starting to move players this direction. He's trying to, like, put pressure on the ball to the point where the Elf player has to score. I don't think he's quite there yet. Maybe. What turn is it? But see, the thing is, like, as Elves, the more time you knock off the clock, the less likely it is that the Orcs are going to score. Orcs need a long time to score. Usually, it doesn't necessarily take them all half. Excuse me, but 5 turns is like 5 turns would be a pretty solid offensive run for a Orc team, and 4 is kind of pushing it. But if you can get them down to 3 turns, like, you know, the pressure's really on them. They're gonna have to start doing things that they necessarily don't want to. Like, you might even have to bring in this goblin. Like when you're receiving first as Orcs, what you must do is you must protect the ball carrier, and you must crush as many Elves as you can while traveling up the field. But instead, you don't see that. I think the Orc's biggest mistake was surrounding this tree man and trying to do as much damage as they could. He's only movement 1. He's not going anywhere. You could have not marked him at all, and if he didn't take root, I mean, he's just like lumbering 1 spot a turn. He's just, and there's Wrestle coming into play again. He's just, you know, like, he's kind of a trap, and I think the Orcs fell for it. Elf player at this point, he has a couple of choices. He can either make some free blocks. He can score. Oh, that's what he's going to do. Another thing he could have done, though, is he could have tried to disengage. I can't pause it and go back and show you. But he could have tried a lot of, like, a few dodges. I mean, he has dodge on, like, several players. He had his reroll for that turn, and just created a light screen to keep them off of his ball carrier. Because, like I said, I think now that Orcs have 4 turns to score, whereas if you put them down to 3, they're really under the gun to make something happen. 4, though, like I said, 4 is kind of tough for Orcs. For a human team, it's not such a big deal, because they can just have a catcher as their ball carrier if they need it. I don't know why I brought up humans, but probably because they're kind of like the antithesis to the Orcs. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the orc player runs this any differently. And we get our thing back. Yay! Hopefully, I don't get a phone call again. All right, so we get to see. I think the elves are probably just going to set up the. Oh, this KO came back. So the elves took no damage. They got a point, and yeah. And now the orcs are going to be kicking off to them in the first half. And if the orcs do not score here, it's game over, pretty much. Because orcs are going to have a lot of trouble scoring twice in one half. Alright, so you see him, he's setting up for a blitz. That's something you should always do. I know a lot of people complain about blitz. They're like, oh, it's broken. It's like, well, yeah, but if you set up correctly, it's a little bit more difficult for them to really take full advantage. Okay, now this is obviously, well, not obviously, but I think the orcs are going to go this direction since he's got his little super scoring goblin over here. And no troll for throwing him. But I think that's kind of a mistake, because if you look, like yeah, you can bash through this half, but this side is where he has 2 strength 2 players, and not only that, but they're movement 8 with sprint. Yeah. And so they're getting to this side of the field faster, whereas these guys would be a little bit slower. It would take them an extra turn to get over. I think you should probably go towards the side with less strength and higher movement, and leave the stronger, slower side out of reach. Although, like, as an orc player, that's not something you really consider. You don't, like, I don't want to say that like orc players are one-dimensional, but they don't usually play a lot of like, they don't look at things in terms of movement. But right here, it would be a big deal if he had. Maybe, potentially. And once again, those skills on the line of scrimmage are really coming into play. Like I said, I usually just put my useless fodder there, but it's been... I think one of the biggest problems the orcs are running into right now is they just don't have any... They don't have enough tackle. Like, I think they have a couple players with tackle. Maybe. IIRC. Okay, I lied. Yeah, they're just completely... They have no tackle, and they don't seem to have any frenzy either. Frenzy is it's not like tackle, but it can alleviate some of the issues that you might have if you are missing tackle. But yeah, this is like I know a lot of people are like, oh, dodge sucks because you can't. You can't utilize it against certain teams who have a lot of tackle. But this is a pretty well developed orc team. Like, it's 23 or 2400 team value, and they don't have one player with tackle, it looks like. So moral of the story is dodge is still really good. Okay, so as you see, the orc player is going for that quick touchdown. Oh, that's what he needs, you know. Oh, he has 5 turns. I lied. This is only the top of turn 4. Again, though, I feel like he's falling into that trap of let's kill the tree man. I do that sometimes. I don't know why. There's just something that just comes over you, like when you're a bash team and you see armor 10, you're just like, man, you know what? I gotta show them. I know I definitely am guilty of that sometimes, but this is not optimal. He is doing a little bit better this time, though. Like, he has a tight cage. If you want to avoid the, and then he's also got this guy here too. So what can happen is he can come over and knock out this thrower right here, and he can put 2. He can only put 2 tackle zones on the ball carrier unless he leaps in somewhere. But regardless, he's going to be able to block everybody away, and then be able to blitz away the player that's not touching anybody, and be able to get the ball carrier away, unless this guy's able to sidestep onto him. But as long as this guy doesn't get off the field, that shouldn't be a problem. Like, he should be able to knock away this thing that's definitely going to come there. And he doesn't have dodge, does he? Oh, he's going to come in and put 3 tackle zones on the ball carrier. Regardless, he can still, like, he is going to put three tackle zones on the ball carrier, but he will be able to, he'll still be able to blitz away this guy and get the ball carrier away. So this is, hope is not yet lost for the New York team here. I need a drink. Alright. So now the orc player is doing a much better job of like splitting up the. Why didn't he move this guy? Wow. Okay. So is it still his turn? Okay. Actually, now that I look at it, if he did leave this player here, I think that would be a much better play. Because if you look, he's kind of linked up here, and then he's still got a lot of strength right here in order to hopefully keep too much from happening over here. Okay, but he is just going for the full connect with all players that you can. Yeah, when your opponent doesn't have any tackle, you can put your blodgers next to him pretty safely. There's only a 1 in 3 chance that he's going to be able to knock this guy over, and then he still has to, you know, break armor. And this guy doesn't even have a mighty blow, so this is not a bad tag. Now I don't know. I might have put him up against the ball carrier, but this is a really sweet play too. Let's see. No, he didn't have mighty blow. See, because like now the ball carrier, like you can't just knock this guy away and then the ball carrier dodge away and get away. There's still this guy here and these guys over here. So he's on the correct side if the ball carrier manages to get away. It's kind of a safety play, and that was, in my opinion, that was a very excellent play. I think that's a really good play. That was much better than I would have done. Alright, so the orc player, once again, he needs to get rid of this guy. He did a pretty good job with that last time. Whatever it is, though, the orc player is going to have to make some, he's going to make some risky, he's going to have to make a risky die roll here somewhere. And that's never the position you want to be in. Because, like, okay, so he can knock away this guy, as you see here. And he's just going to, like he can sidestep, but it's not going to be anywhere he wants to be. Like, it's not going to be near the ball carrier. And then he can knock away this guy, and then he can run off over here. They're just so slow. He might have to make a risky pass to this, this goblin. That seems to be the only, well, okay, so I was going to say that, but maybe what he'll do is he'll knock away this this war dancer. He'll move up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, he's not fast enough. He might have to make some go for it. But he can get to over here somewhere. And then these guys can come and create like a barrier between him and these murderous elves. Alright, so his ball carrier is free. So now he has those 2 options. I would say that making the 2 go for it is probably safer than trying to throw it to this goblin who's on the sideline. Because if you throw the ball into, like, if it's an inaccurate pass and it goes into the sideline or into the crowd, there is elves almost hands down win that kind of confrontation. Because like the ball might come over here, but then it could just easily come here where elves have it. It could come here where elves have it, or it could, like, you know, fly into the crowd and then like to over here somewhere and elves have it. It's just you don't want to be throwing to somebody on the sideline unless you absolutely have to. And now he's contemplating what to do, and it looks like, what? No, what are you doing? Protect your ball carrier. He must still have his bribe, but even so, like, When you have a bribe against wood elves and their tree man is on the ground, he's not gonna, like, there's a 50-50 chance he's not gonna get to do anything. Ooh, and there's the, okay, so he made it. Alright, so that's what he's doing. Oh, he's throwing it. No! Okay. Okay, it worked out. Still though, you have to be, you still have to be really apprehensive about this, because like you have a strength 2 guy with the ball. He's going to be in scoring range next turn, but the elves can be threatening him next turn. And so you'll be leaving the elves, you know, a couple turns in order to score when you kick the ball off to them. Well, we will see what happens. Alright, so now the elf player, he really just needs to disengage here. There's no reason to, I'm speeding it up a little. The elf player, yeah, he's just going to come up and try to put pressure on the ball. He's going to disengage all of as many players as he can from the orcs. He doesn't want to be toe-to-toe with any of them. Like, he might dodge away here, block here. This guy's going to come up. This guy's probably going to sweep around, and this guy will... In fact, he may even try to blitz with this guy. How close is he? No, he's not close enough. But still. Oh, he's gonna blitz down this blocker. This is something always too to keep in mind. Like, removing players from the pitch is always, like, if you get a free block against somebody, like, okay, hold on just a second. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. So yeah, he's disengaging, but he can still use his blitz. And what he's doing is he's shutting down this this guy closest to the ball carrier, and he's getting a free shot against their star strength 4 ball handler. You know, this is, at least that's what I think he's going to do. I don't know why he wouldn't. Okay. Now see, what you want to do whenever you're doing this is, if you're disengaging, you actually want to disengage. Putting his catcher right here, no matter which way he pushes this guy, he's still going to be in contact with the strength 2 guy, and he's going to get a block against him. An assist over here would have been better, in my opinion. Still, it's only 1 block, so there's a chance that nothing will happen. But it's a slight error, and it shouldn't be game changing, because this is like, he's a solid player, but he's not one of the stars of the Wood Elf team. So yeah, he's gonna come over here blitz, and then, like I said, he should just be removing or trying to get away from as many blocks as possible. Alright, so now the orc player is almost forced to score next turn, which is, as far as, oh no, what are you doing? Oh, he had a bribe as well. It must have been a get the ref result somewhere. I was like, man, that was really dangerous. Although, like I said, a strength 4, you know, level 5 guy, you should take your shots at him when you can. And I guess if you have a bribe, go ahead and utilize it. I hate rolling double 1s on a roll like that. This guy should loop around so that way these guys can't get there. Can at least move into position to try and help. I'm gonna speed it up a bit. Oh, cool! He's still going for blocks. This is something I don't do well enough, but really the way you should look at it is if you can, like, when you're trying to get away from players, if you can block instead of dodge, it's a lot safer. Because there's only a 1 in 36 chance of failing a block, but then you get to re-roll it. Whereas if you fail your 1 in 36 chance to dodge away, you're you're toast. It's a turnover. And in this instance, if he was trying to get this player away, it would have been from here to here. Moreover, you have a shot at hurting your opponent, which is always good. So, yeah. So always do that. That's one of my problems. When I play elves, I play them a little too passively. But yeah, this player is playing excellently. He's showing you how to play them aggressively. And I think he's probably going to go into the second half up 1 point. Because like the orcs have to score here, and then like elves having 3 turns to score, like that's, you're gonna be hard pressed to stop them. Yeah, the orcs just haven't dealt enough damage, and they are just way out of position. If you look, his ball's up here by itself, and all of his strength is like, most of his strength is right here. He's got a couple players here, and then he's got this guy. Oh, this is a really good player. So sadly, he cannot take on 4 elves. Oh, he has a niggling injury. Who's Wanda? Interesting. Like I wish that like it would show on the skill, like where it says guard and wrestle. I wish it would show that, you know, like, oh, he has niggling injury and he's -1 armor value. Because -1 armor and niggling, like that's, I mean, yes, you need guard on your players, but this is maybe a time to trade him in for a new player. Maybe after he gets some of these naked linemen, like once he gets some of these guys leveled up, maybe he can trade this guy away. Or maybe that's why he does play very fast and loose with his players, so he's probably just hoping, like he's using him to die on the pitch. I have a lot of trouble with that too. That's something that you should really utilize. Like when he was pushing everybody away and trying to disengage is what I was saying. He did throw this guy into the meat grinder, kind of. Like there were 3 players that he came up and marked just so he could get the assist, the free assist against this for this guy. So sidestep, LOL. Now, I don't know why he's coming up here and marking this player. He's definitely going to have to just walk into the end zone. Does this guy have sidestep? If he really wants to risk it, which I would not suggest ever doing, he might just leave him there and be like, yeah, come and hit me, you know, and then just sidestep into the end zone. But that's really risky. He is running up and marking, though, like he's planning on something else. He needs a score this turn, though. Wait, he rolled a double. Why isn't he getting kicked out? I mean, that's a... Okay, and then he scores. I wonder why he didn't have to use his bribe there. Or worry about getting ejected by the referee. That was kind of odd. Oh, maybe... Oh, he's a sneaky get. That's right. Never mind. Carry on. Wow, it's already 1-1, and we're not even through the first half. There's still 3 turns in the bottom for the elves. Anyway, so we will see how this goes. I will take another drink. BRB. Alright, I'm back. Okay, so setting up a defense to stop elves, this is probably one of the most difficult things to do. Now as orcs, like, you're kind of always... It's always difficult to tell who you should put on the line of scrimmage, because whenever you put someone on the line of scrimmage, you always have to expect them to get knocked over and have to take an armor roll. And so you're either stuck putting your black orcs on the line, or you have to put your troll and like a couple of linemen. Generally I go with the troll and a couple of linemen. It doesn't, but most people don't, or a lot of orc players don't play with a troll. But that's one of the reasons I really like to play with the troll. He's just this big fat like punching bag that's just perfect for sitting on the line of scrimmage. He has armor 9, I think, and he's he's got regen. He's just, I think he has thick skull too. I don't remember. That may not be correct. I think he does though. But yeah, it's definitely it's definitely good to have one just for that purpose. Like, I just have my troll sit in the middle, and that's all he does. Alright, so he's kind of set up, like, this is a good setup. Elves really can't, like, poke through anywhere. I think he does. Alright, so he's got a stand firm guy and his sidestep guy. Like, it can be kind of difficult to tell you should put on the edge, because this is where elves can get through. What they can do is they can come up and hit your player, and then there's a sideline for them to run down. But if you have a strength 4 guy over here, it's a lot more difficult. But he went with the blodging guys with sidestep and stand firm. So it's still really iffy on whether the elves can make that kind of play. So, but regardless, excuse me, this is a good way of doing it. Another thing you can do too is you can bump this guy up one. So like if you had this blitzer right here instead, it's even more difficult for you to get the assist you need against this guy in the right spots, because like he'll come up and he'll have a guy here for the assist, and then he'll come up and you'll have to hit here with the player after marking over here, and then he's still, like, no matter where he pushes this guy, like, he's gonna have to make a dodge away from this guy somewhere along the way, because there's a guy right here, so he has to like hop through. Well, even now, I guess this is still the same. So never mind, disregard all that. Looking at the elf setup, he seems like he has a lot of his... Has he set up yet? Oh, he's still setting up. I don't know why you'd want this catcher right here. What is he doing? His strength is definitely on this side. He's going to be coming this direction. I don't know. Is he setting up for a one-turn touchdown already? I mean, that would be a little premature, I think. What is he doing? Blocking with the big guy first, that's unique. I don't know. LOL dodge. Oh, he is going for the one turn, and he's using grab to make it happen. That's... I don't know. I think that's kind of funny. I don't know though. I don't know why you would need to go for the one-turn touchdown this turn. I think... I don't know. This may be a little bit of overconfidence. He has 3 turns. I don't know why you wouldn't just use all 3 turns. From the way I look at this, like, the elf player should have no problems getting into the end zone. So this seems just a little too much, and now he's not even... Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, he made it. He's in scoring range now. All he has to do is catch the ball and push these people away. Although, as orcs, this is something you really have to worry about. He's probably not going to score this turn. What he can do is he can knock away someone over here, and these orcs are not fast enough to catch the catcher that comes this far back. To catch the catcher. Let me see. One of these guys has movement though, doesn't he? Where is he? This is guard player. Yes, it is. This guy. This is the guy you got to worry about. So that's why he came this side, it seems like, because he didn't want to deal with this +1 movement. Although he can get there, so this guy's gonna have to run over here somewhere. Boo! As you can see, this was really not the safest of plays. I mean, the ball is sitting right here. If